I've learned really how lucky we are that the human body can rebound, even from years of, eating in a different fashion. It doesn't take much effort for your body to respond. And the older you get, it's really, really important. And you really have to nourish your aging body. And how lucky we are that we have the ability to do that in a really simple fashion.
Hello and welcome to the monthly update with Healthy Parents. We've had a busy summer, so we missed a month. So we have 2 months to catch up on. So we're catching up on July and August as we head into September. If you're new here, hey, I'm Healthy Emmie. I'm a nutritionist and a weight loss specialist. If you want to work with me and my team in the Slim on Starch program to lose weight on a plant-based diet, then click the link in the down bar. All right, so this is Healthy Mummy and Healthy Dad. Their whole story is documented in the Healthy Mummy series playlist, so you can check that out here, navigating on my channel. We always start out these Healthy Parent updates by talking about our favorite food from the cookbooks. So Healthy Dad has a cookbook and Healthy Mummy has a cookbook. And who would like to do the honors?
I'll go.
Okay.
We've been doing Mexi steadily, and I have gone over to pinto beans. We may have to update it. They seem to cook up better and with as a refried bean. We actually had it last night. We're having it tonight, so stick around.
So yours actually is not in the cookbook, Dad? Or maybe it's in the future cookbook?
Well, there's certainly some that aren't that have evolved over the course of time. A new raspberry vinaigrette dressing, oil-free, of course.
Okay, so we're going to tease the new cookbook.
Yeah.
The Healthy Dad 2.0 cookbook coming soon. Both of your cookbooks, when we launched them, did very well. So people love them. Would you be open to doing a second version? You'd have to think of more recipes. It would be a fun, creative project.
There have been some new things that I've done, like a bailout lunch when there happens to be no leftovers. I'll make kind of quasi burritos with black beans and onions and lettuce and salsa, and it's a 10-minute savior. Yeah, sure.
All right, well,
I'm in.
Okay, that's a fun little creative project that you have now. Mom, would you be open?
Sure.
You'd have to create at least 20 new recipes.
Let's start cracking.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with tofu ginger, of course.
Oh, you switched. You were a veggie burger kind of gal.
Yeah. I just love the tofu ginger, and we've sort of tweaked it a little and changed the rice up a bit and maybe the flavorings. And I just think it's such a great meal, and everybody loves it. And I'm not excited when Dad's making it.
Healthy Dad, too, will sort of taunt us with it and hold it over our heads. So it's not something you get all the time. So when it comes, it's a treat. Let's talk about our favorite primary foods from the month. If you're new here, primary foods are the foods outside of your plate. They're the things that nourish your soul: hobbies, relationships, pastimes. Maybe the new cookbook will be a new primary food for them, inventing these new recipes. But Healthy Dad, what has been your go-to primary food from the past couple of months?
Not to bore you. And again, my goal is to do 3 things a day. So this morning I golfed. I rode my bike. Beautiful morning to ride a bike. And the third, I just finished cleaning the house. So there's 3.
I did not know that your goal is to do 3 things a day.
Yep.
Where did that come from?
It just kind of evolved. And then the irony, because the other day I did 4 things and I paid for it. Again, as we talked before, to overdo it. And there was a day this week that I overdid it and paid the price the next day. But because there's 6 or 7 things on the list of things that I do, that finding that I was doing them, I don't feel right if I don't have 3 things done.
I like that. And you don't want to chase health off of a cliff either. There is such thing as too much of a good thing. So finding that balance. Mom, what has been your go-to primary food?
I just found that I've been really become more aware of when I am participating in one of my primary foods, how good it feels. I'll give you one example. We have these adorable little 8-year-old twins next door who come over here all the time. They love Healthy Dad. And they were banging on the piano, like for a long time. So I went in and I said, do you want me to play something for you? And their eyes were huge. And it's just a little, a little thing I'm able to do that reminds me of what a big thing it is to be able to do. And when I was away on some trips, to be able to read on the way, have a good book, or to pick up the knitting again, stuff like that. It's pretty simple stuff that makes you feel calm and happy and cool again.
What I appreciate too is that you have that next level of consciousness about it. So when you are entertaining the girls with the piano, you can actually step back and say, what a magical moment this is that I'm having with them.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to talk about wins, something that you're proud of over the past couple of months with your health and wellness. So Dad, what are you proud of?
I don't know if Mom's going to tell this story, but we went to Saratoga early last month, and I actually went back. And our friend Danny and Carrie, very gracious hosts, like beyond generous. And but was interesting because when we went, we brought our own food, and it's kind of do what you want to do, don't do what you don't want to do type of thing. So we had supper, and Lisa brought out her soup, and something magical happened. Our host said, "Hey, that soup looks great," and he's not vegan, and wolfed down. It was like a vacuum cleaner.
You're generous, Mom.
So that was to me a general one, because I went back, and when we went back and talking to my friend who's very sick, and he may be someone we may need to have you talk to, because he was talking about what he eats, and this is a guy who has stage 4 cancer, and talking about the diet of what he eats, and it's just like 100% what you shouldn't be eating. And again, we get reaffirmations of the boring stuff that we eat, but we don't have any of those other problems that a lot of people do.
I learned something in my child development studies that kids are bad at listening but good at imitating. And I say this to the parents that I work with that say, I want to set a good example for my kids with healthy habits. And I tell them, you can say all you want to, but they're going to pick up on your behaviors more than anything. And adults are just big kids. And so if we want to help change those around us, telling them what to do usually is not as effective as what you just talked about, which is leading the way and being this glowing example and having somebody say, that looks really good. And she looks really healthy. And I noticed that she's been walking every morning that we're here, and she's happy and she's light and she's glowing. I want what she's doing. Mm-hmm. So there were probably other things that you were doing that weekend that they picked up on. And then they saw you're eating something delicious and said, there's something going on here. Mm-hmm. Was it the doctored up Dr. McDougall soup? In the cookbook.
Yeah.
All right. Mom, what are you proud of over July and August? I'm proud of you for something.
I can't wait to hear. On the few trips that I took this summer, as usual, what we choose to eat always comes up. And I find that it is borderline anxious for our hosts. And by the third trip, I said to our host, I'm fine. We're fine. You don't need to ask, make any special changes. We can accommodate whatever you have here. And instead of me saying or changing what I've been eating just to, in my opinion, keep the host happy, like, oh, I shouldn't eat the way I have been. Let me just eat whatever they've got. So a commitment to what I know is best for me, and to try and make everybody else calmer about it.
That's major. How did that end up going over for you?
For me, great. And I think for the host, it was calming too. Like, stop. Everything is fine.
I often have clients who express anxiety about that exactly, that they don't want to offend the host. They don't want that friction. And I say to them, and they'll so eloquently say to me, I'm so grateful that they're having me, and the foods on SOS make me feel so good, and I don't feel good when I eat those other foods, but I don't want to hurt their feelings. They'll say all that to me, and I go, why don't you say that to them? And they say, well, I'm scared to do that. And I say, well, let's try it. Let's see how it goes. And they do it, and then they come back and they go, I had the conversation and it went beautifully and everything was fine. And the host was totally fine with everything. So I think that a lack of proper communication is usually at the root of this friction and the anxiety that comes up in these social situations. But if you clearly communicate, I don't want to offend you, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I'm fine if I just take care of myself, then it's put to rest. What I was going to say that I'm proud of you for, and I want to go out and show everybody, or maybe show them everything here, is your garden.
Yeah.
So I'll interject and we'll do a clip where she shows her garden now. Here we are at the Healthy Mummy garden. What do we have here?
We just did a major cleanup yesterday because there were vines, pumpkin vines that went down into the yard. So it's all cleaned up. But we'll start here. These are some chives. They'll stay till next year. These are the potatoes. See how they're just starting to poke up through the ground?
Oh my goodness, that is so
Yeah.
cool.
We harvested one yesterday, and I'm telling you, from 1/2 of a potato, that's all it takes. We got a bushel. I'll show you a bag of potatoes from.
Oh
1/10
my
of a potato.
goodness. This is so cool how you can see the little potatoes popping up.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
So it's sort of key as to when you harvest them. So we did one yesterday. This is starting to die back, which is a good sign. And they're starting to poke through, but they're still green.
Yeah, and you don't want to eat the green ones.
Yeah, and there's underneath that, there's a bunch more. I'll
That
show you
is
how many.
so cool.
Isn't that wild? 1/2 of a potato. That's it.
Can we do sweet potatoes next year?
You can try. You can try anything. Emily Ty said you should give us a piece of your purple potatoes. You never know.
100%.
Okay, so we're down in the cellar now because you want to keep them someplace where they're cool and dark. So that's a bushel from just one plant, so to speak. All those potatoes started from 1/2 of a potato.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like
We did nothing.
2 pounds of potatoes.
Easy. Yeah, we did nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. One couple of little baby pumpkins that are still
Oh,
growing, so
look
we'll
at
leave them be. These are eggplant. See, they're coming
Wow.
along. They look good.
That's legit.
Yep, so there's 4 of those. We're going to let those keep going. These cherry tomatoes have produced an abundance, so we're leaving them be. Pepper plants, and then these are heirloom tomatoes.
All right, let's talk about learnings. This is one of my favorite questions to ask my clients on weekly calls. I love when they share with me what they learned this week. So over the past couple months, what have you learned about your health and wellness, Dad?
Very simply, and it may be repeating. Oftentimes, I learn what not to do, and again, with this discussion with this particular person, who really should be paying attention, like really paying attention. And he's not, or he's going to, or, the greatest, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But really it's, diet and exercise. I mean, it's more of a reaffirmation, if you will, that if you stay the course and just have a few good habits, that, again, I've said before, the good habits are as easy to keep as bad ones. So really I learned to reaffirm the good habits. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Mom, what did you learn?
I've learned really how lucky we are that the human body can rebound, even from years of, eating in a different fashion. It doesn't take much effort for your body to respond. And the older you get, it's really, really important because you must keep moving. And you really have to nourish your aging body. And how lucky we are that we have the ability to do that in a really simple fashion.
It truly is remarkable, the ability that the human body has to heal. It really is remarkable. And your body is, I say this to my clients all the time, it's at the starting line ready to heal. Because my clients will say, oh my God, it's been a week and I've already released this much and I'm sleeping so much better and I don't have hot flashes and my joints feel better, my digestion's better. So no matter how many years of damage, don't use that as your excuse. What's that? Okay, then you're just going to keep going down that path. Use that as your catalyst for, wow, I can change and I can make this change now. All right, things that are coming up. Do you have anything coming up that you need help planning for? We're heading into September, the best month of the year.
We have a wedding, one in November and one in December.
Mm-hmm.
So both of those will require a little extra effort on our part. What else? I start back to work next week, my 1 day a week, working at the college. So that'll be good.
You bring a cooler when you go to work, right?
Yes, with my lunch and snacks and water and a book.
I tell people that you bring your cooler. And the interesting part is you did that even before the vegan days. You always had your cooler. Yeah, you've always been a cooler guy.
I've always been a bringer.
And yeah, you're a cooler guy. So what goes into your cooler?
Well, I usually work on Tuesdays. So Monday, as you as you all know, it's Thanksgiving without the turkey. So basically, it's Thanksgiving without the turkey on Tuesday.
Okay, so that's in the cookbook too. So in the cooler goes Thanksgiving without the turkey. And Mom, what do you have coming up? Best month of the year.
It is. September's the best. And I think just to point out that it's a change of season. And for a lot of people, it's really a complete change of routine. They've got kids are going back to school. And it could really change the way you've been doing things. Maybe a lot more frantic, a lot more picking of food. So I think it's a time to really just, before it all starts, and plan out a little bit more solidly how you're going to prep your meals.
There's a line in The Great Gatsby, life starts all over again when it gets crisp in the fall. So September is your opportunity to start anew, start the SOS lifestyle. Struggles. Have you struggled with anything over the past couple months besides missing me?
I think you can always talk about the weather. The weather has really frustrated a lot of people, having to try to work around where we had so much rain. We had so much humidity and rain in July. I think so far in August it has rained 14 of the 27 days. So I think I think that's been a frustration for a lot of people.
That reminds me of Michael Singer and what he talks about in the surrender experiment and just what he talks about in general. We say, I'm going on vacation. It better not rain. and how silly that is that we say it's completely out of our control. And life has gone the way it's gone, and the sun has risen and it's set every single day. And we do have absolutely, it's so disconnected from us, but we still hold so much frustration, energy, and control for it. So perhaps the goal for next month is to surrender to, it's raining. There's nothing I can do about it. I can only control my reaction to it. What have you struggled with, if anything, Mom?
Well, I think it's funny that Dad said that there is an example or a lesson if you're an anxious person, you worry about things you can't control, people you can't control, your children who you can't control, to start with low-hanging fruit like the weather. And if it's a bad day, you still focus on doing the things you want to do, enjoying the day, because that's nothing. You can't do anything about it. And struggles for me, not too much. I think my biggest food struggle is that sometimes I start to veer again. I'm creeping again. I'm veering off path, eating more things that have a lot of natural but high fat content. It's no big deal. I know I'm doing it, but that's probably about it.
Yeah, you have the awareness and you have the knowledge and you have the vocab even. Yeah. You're able to say, I'm incorporating more of those healthy but calorically dense foods, which can put weight back on. Yeah. They can make my cholesterol go up. So I know that I'm doing it and I know how to get back on the straight and narrow, strictly SOS. So the secret word, actually, instead of commenting September, which was, I was going to have you comment that, comment what your favorite month is. I think September is the best month. Dad, what's your favorite month?
One with nice weather. It's funny, October.
I had a feeling you were going to October us.
As far as a fail safe, through the years.
Yeah, it's a safe bet.
It's a fail safe, nice month.
It's not too polarizing.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, I love you, honeys, and I'll see you in my next video.